there's a lot of great things and revitalization going on right now in our town, and there was just an article in the Mercury about Uptown, Upland Square. We're looking at building some apartments there. You know, the Mercury building was sold, and there's apartments going there. A lot of great things happening, right? We also have some entities in our community that do not pay taxes, that if they did pay taxes, it could totally change the tone of where our budget would be. And I guess my question is, like, what conversations are taking place, and what can community leaders like myself do to say, hey, and talk to these entities about how they are potentially impacting our future generation? And then looking at new investors coming in, how can some of these people are from out of Pottstown, from just far away, just investing in our community, which that's great. But if you're gonna be here and you're gonna make money here, then you're gonna need to feed into our children as well. So what kind of conversations are happening there, and how can we as a community hold those people accountable?
Well, the first thing is, you know, everyone wants to turn to the state and say, well, how do you hold them accountable? The school board needs to hold them accountable. The municipality needs to hold them accountable, and the county needs to hold them accountable. You are the taxing authorities. Those three branches tax. We don't tell them they gotta pay. So you can come, when I was in Springford, we had a property in Upper Providence. You all know the Upper Providence Town Center, well established, came to us and asked us for a tax abatement for 10 years. For alerta, as they say, to stimulate the growth. Our answer was no. You develop that land, you're gonna pay property tax on it. If someone chooses not to pay property tax, then you need to take them to court as the school board and as the municipality, and of course a little bit as the county. The state has no authority to make them pay that tax. The local funders do. Now, when we look at taxes, over 90% of our taxes are school district taxes. So when someone moves into the community, if you haven't cut a deal as a school board, and I'm not saying this in a negative or anything that's illegal, but if you haven't said that you're giving a property tax abatement on that land, they have to pay. And let's remember also, when they buy something like the Mercury Hotel, there's transfer taxes that go to school districts. And I can remember, and you probably remember this in O&J, but we used to have huge transfer tax money come in every day to Springford for years because of properties that would sell. So the districts would get a big chunk of money that would come in. You wanted to see a property sell. But then they could also go for a property tax reassessment with the county. We had a property go from $200 million assessment, and they wanted it to be $20 million. That was a massive drop in our taxes that we were supposed to receive from them. So there's a lot of entities that you can go. Now, the other problem we have is a nonprofit. If we're going to speak about no taxes, that would be an educational facility, it would be a church, it would be an organization. If you have so many of them in the community, you have no way to collect from them because under the law, they're exempt. So areas like Pottstown, well, there's a big part of land here that is untaxed. But our neighboring district that we don't think much of in PV, they have a humongous part of land that's not taxed, which is called the prison. Well, they get $3 or $4 an acre. I wouldn't call that taxed. They have Ursinus College, it's no tax. So there are a lot of places to look to say, well, can you get additional tax dollars? Then we as a state would have to change the way the tax code works to say, we're going to tax all these entities, or you can tax them, have the ability to tax it. So what I would recommend to the school boards is some of these places that don't pay taxes, maybe you speak to them about a pilot, a payment in lieu of taxes, that you get taxes from them, and those who aren't paying property taxes who should, use the court system. And let the court go after them and say, you have to pay these taxes, otherwise you're fined, or the property's going to be repossessed, in a way, or taken by eminent domain, or whatever way you do it.